Hey, Astrologic family, this is Lorenzo Sanford. We are here on the full moon in Virgo. It's a challenging time for a lot of us, but I'm here to give you the good news that there's a greater purpose for it all, and you are a part of that purpose. And so we will all be fine. We will all get through this period as we continue to get through all of life's changes and challenges. If you like this information, don't forget to click like on the video and also share it with someone who may be able to benefit from the information. And remember, these are generalized readings. If you would like to have a personal reading, you can definitely reach out to us at our website, astrologicastrology.com, or you can reach us through YouTube or Instagram. So let's get right into the full moon in Virgo. So obviously the full moon means that the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of the zodiac, and that means that the sun is in Pisces when we have a full moon in Virgo. The sun in Pisces at this time is under a lot of strain because the sun is conjunct Saturn. The planet Saturn is in Pisces. They were exactly conjunct a couple of days ago, but on this day of the exact full moon, they're only separated by a degree or so. So all this week, we've been feeling the pressure to live up to certain ideals that either we have held or we have felt that have been held against us, as it were, from other people in our world and our environment. And then combine that with this split with the full moon in Virgo asking us where we're being too critical of ourselves and other people, or where people are imposing their criticism on us. And it just makes for a week that is just challenging and makes us have to address all kinds of internal issues about what we believe versus how effective we're being. And the issue is surrender versus control. Where can you surrender to something greater while at the same time allowing for yourself to be what you are without expecting too much perfection? And so we want to now talk about how all these issues affect each sign, but just know that we will be able to eventually have greater clarity, even if right now things feel overwhelming. Okay, Aries, you are having to deal with some hidden things that are bothering you that people in your environment may not be able to see, that are affecting you. And it may be coming out in your health. So I want you to be very aware of the things that are subtly affecting you. You don't want to get to a point where you have these buried emotions and buried feelings. You want to let them out. And it's not good for you, as you know, because you're so Mars ruled that anything repressed gets to feel like I'm not being who I am at my true self, my true core self. So I want you to let it out, Aries. Whatever you're feeling, find a way to express it and get it out there. This is a good time for you to address your health concerns, your health issues, and to get some routines together that will serve you for the next 6 months or so. So release whatever is pent up and find practical ways to approach your self-improvement and your health, especially for the long term. Taurus, this period is a time when you have some decisions that you have to make around both your children and your creativity and your sense of how are you allowing yourself to be your authentic self. It's not all challenging. You have perhaps one of the more easier periods of all the signs, because a lot of this is happening in your 5th house. And if you don't have children, of course, it's related to how you express yourself and let yourself play and let yourself have fun and let yourself be authentic. Either way, you have to make some decisions about the ways that you express yourself in the world. And for those of you with children, you may have to decide how much you're going to let your children take how much space you're going to allow to your duties versus what you have to do for yourself, for your own pleasure, for your own joy, for your own sense of life still making sense for you. So don't be too harsh. Don't force yourself to fit the ideal of the perfect parent. Don't force yourself to fit any ideal. And the 5th house also deals with love relationships. So make sure that everything that you're expressing to those you care for is coming from your authentic ideal place, and that place where you can say, I'm honestly telling you what's in my heart. I'm honestly giving you what is meaningful to me. I'm honestly saying the things to you that make an impact, make a difference in my world. And I want you to respect that. So all these themes are important for you over this next several weeks, if not months. And enjoy, because this is a time when you can, if you open your heart, you can find a lot of peace and a lot of security. Gemini, this month, this eclipse period is bringing you to confront work-life balance. What are the demands that are being placed on you at work versus what responsibilities you have at home? And so this is a time when you have to make crucial distinctions and decisions. And these decisions and distinctions have to be made so that you, at your core, feel like you are thriving, that you're still able to be stimulated mentally, that you're still able to express the things that are on your mind. You don't want to get into these perfectionist tendencies where you expect too much of yourself or you expect too much from those who are around you. So allow yourself some time to reflect on what is it that really matters in terms of getting things done, both at home and at work. And how can you do it in your most refreshed and stimulated, especially mentally, way? How can you stay alive and at the same time take care of your responsibilities at home and at work? You have to really concentrate on finding that balance and not pushing too hard on yourself or letting the people around you push too hard on you as you strive to find your balance. Cancer. This is a time period for you when you have to let your feelings be known. You have to write letters. You have to get out and tell the people in your community, your neighbors, and especially your family members, your siblings, the people who are in your everyday environment need to know what you're feeling. You don't need to hold back. You don't need to repress. And if you need to back it up with your faith, meaning you have to say and do the things that are connected to where you find the most meaning in your world, whether that be through your philosophical beliefs or your spiritual beliefs or your sense of there being something greater in the world. If that informs how you act and how you move, let people know. You don't have to keep that under wraps. You don't have to hide it from anyone. And people should have the benefit of what animates you, what makes you feel like you are connected to something. And this is a good time to decide who you really want to be connected to. Do you need to have those conversations with the people who don't really understand you? Do you need to say some things, to perhaps a few choice words to give people a greater sense of respect for you and the things that are in your mind? Do you need to allow yourself to vent, to let out things that you've been holding in? All these things are things to consider during this time, and you can safely let these things out. This is generally a supportive time for you, and you will find your environment receptive as long as you are somewhat objective and don't expect everyone to take care of your feelings. Just know that it's okay for you to express whatever it is that is on your mind, and you should do that. Leo, this is a time period when you have to focus on the split between what your values are and the expectations that other people have of you in terms of these deep commitments. What do you owe that you can't escape? What must you attend to that you cannot find excuses for? And what do you owe yourself, and how can you express your values in a way that makes sense in the world, where you feel that you're getting what you're worth and where you feel like other people have a proper respect for what you are worth, and that you're giving things that contribute to your commitments, but you're not being overwhelmed by your commitments. So this is a very important time for you to maybe go and do some financial planning where you straighten out the things that you owe versus the things that you do for pleasure. It's a good time for budgeting. It's a good time for cutting back on some things that may be having you overextended. It's a good time for you to process, maybe go into some of those sites that help you look into the ways that you're wasting money so that you can better have resources spent and servicing the things that really matter to you, as opposed to just going to all manner of places that don't really reflect what you are about. So this is a time period where you have to define your values and make the distinction between what those values are for you and what you owe, the debts that you have to others, including institutions that you're involved with. So be encouraged that as you find this clarity, you'll find that there are a lot of resolutions that make life smoother. Virgo, the spotlight is on you this month, and you have to make clear distinctions between what you're going to be and what you need to do to stabilize the relationships that are really the center of your life. So your marriage, your long-term committed relationships are challenging you to really make a sense a clear sense of and express a clear sense of what you're going to commit to long-term in your partnerships versus what you know you need to do to strengthen your own self-identity. So if you want to go out and golf, or if you want to go out and hike, or if you want to go out and research, whatever it is that is important to you, you have to find space for that because it gives you a sense of purpose. But if you also have relationship requirements, you have to understand that those are real, then they have to be attended to as well. And so this time period is a time when you have to really be clear whether you're going to focus on the things that give you sustenance and give you purpose, or you're going to focus on giving other people what they are asking. And the answer obviously is you have to do a little bit of both in a way that brings you peace. So don't be overwhelmed with your responsibilities to others, but at the same time, don't let yourself neglect the things that truly give you a sense of I am worth doing the things that matter to me. I am worth it. It's all about, this time period is all about you developing the strong sense of I am. I don't have to always give. I don't have to always serve others. I am important. What matters to me is very significant, and I can't do for others if I don't do for myself first. Libra, you've got some thoughts, some subconscious things that are going on that you're not clear about, and it's a good time for you to talk to someone to find a greater sense of clarity through dialogue. It's really important for you to share some of the things that are going on inside, because you may be making too much of small things or not giving enough attention to things that need to be examined more closely. So if you can find a friend, or if you want to go to a counselor, that could be equally helpful, but you definitely want to not seclude yourself unless that is a period where you're doing deep soul searching and meditation. That's always good, but you don't want to be lost in your thoughts. You don't want to be lost in your head, because in your head there are a lot of things circulating that you need to find balance with, and you need to be okay with the fact that there's a lot of things going on in your head, but at the same time, know that you can have clarity about those things. You can prioritize those things, and you should. And that's not always easy to do alone. So this is a good time for you to seek out objective partners who can help you make sense of the many things that are circulating in your mind, so that you can prioritize the things that need to come from all the things that you're thinking about. And it's a good time for you to let the processes that you're in play themselves out. Don't short circuit what you're doing. Let the processes that you're working through, that you're working in, play themselves out. Don't let emotions or anxiety or fear keep you from doing the things that you know you need to do. Scorpio, this month, check your tribe. See who is around you, who needs to be around you, and see who needs to be released. and do this with high-minded intentions. You don't want to hurt anyone because they have hurt you. You don't want to be retaliatory in any way. You want to just simply make decisions that serve where you see yourself going. And if you see that there are people who don't reflect where you see yourself going, or don't reflect your values or what you know you want to surround yourself with socially, then you can use this time period to snip, 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 cut away those people who don't fit what you see yourself doing and how you see yourself acting and participating in the world. So this is a good time to go on your social media and eliminate the people whose views don't really align with yours. This is a good time for you to make clear to others where you stand on social issues. This is a good time for you to say, I'm aligned with this because this is significant to me, and I am fine if you don't agree. It's a good time for you to make sure that all the tribes know what and where you focus your energy. And this is all moving you towards the vision that you have for yourself, the long-term vision that you have for yourself, and that's what's at stake here. So make sure that you are keeping the energy clean, high-minded, and focused on the best for all, for the highest good that you can participate in fully and completely, knowing that you are doing your best to contribute to the things that matter to you. Sagittarius, this is the month for you to define what is going on with your parents and your family, and what demands are being expected of you in your career. Like, what is your career path, and how do you deal with your career path while at the same time dealing with your situation with your family and specifically your parents. If there's issues that come up with parents, and it could be, if your parents are no longer here, it could be your parental legacy, the expectations that you know that you were given, and whether or not you're addressing them versus what you're actually doing in the world. This is a good time to examine the split between who you are in the world and what you know you were given, what you know internally your dynamics were, the expectations were for you from your family and upbringing. And it may also be a time when you have to say to your parents or your parental legacy, my choices are different from the choices that you made, and I'm okay with that. I have to be okay with that, because I have to differentiate myself in the world. And so this is a time when you have to make crucial distinctions and decisions about how you want to be seen in the world versus what your early upbringing expected from you. And it's not an easy time, but it's a time where if you allow yourself to find clarity, that you will be more effective, but you have to address the issues. Okay, Capricorn, you have to deal with your issues of faith this month. And that means you have to make decisions about what do you really believe, not what other people have asked you to accept or believe, but what do you really believe? What is the guiding principle in your life? What are the guiding ideals, principles that make you know that there's something bigger that you're a part of? And it's okay, whatever it is. And it needs to be as big as possible. It doesn't need to be small. You need to find the ways that you can say to yourself, yes, this, I wholly and fully can commit to this, whatever that is. And it's a good time to also maybe experience some ways of getting that message out. So you may want to do some writing. You may want to do some sort of communicating that allows you to really say to the world that this is what I believe, this is where I stand. And just allow yourself that kind of freedom, because there is a freedom that comes from saying, I believe this is who I am. And it's a good time for you to allow yourself to do that. And it might be a good time for you to also consider going back to learn in a structured learning environment where you can take new information in as well. So if you're considering learning some new subject or going back to school, this is a great time for you to do that as well. Aquarius, this month is not the easiest month for you. This time period that we're in is one where you may have to seriously consider where you have to cut your losses, where you have to surrender things that once were important but no longer serve you. You may have to deal with some financial obligations that make you feel burdened. It's all about examining the deepest areas of your life that tie you to other people and to other organizations, institutions, and examine what do you owe versus what you think you want. So are you getting what you want? Is it worth, are the commitments that you've made to institutions and to other people that are really close to you, is it really serving you? Do you really want it? Or are you just going through the motions? You have to really make some clear decisions, because if you don't, then it can be a time when there's a lot of burdens placed on you and you don't understand why the burdens are so heavy. So take the time to really examine what you have taken on as responsibilities and ask yourself, is this really what I want? Is this what I really envision and value? Or am I just caught in these cycles? If you can examine what's going on with some objectivity, then it makes it possible for you to operate from a very effective place where you're truly at your core doing the things that are transforming your world. And that's what's at stake. Do you stay in a rut or do you transform? Pisces, you must resist the urge to be depressed. You have to resist the urge to surrender your ideals this month. You have to resist the urge to give up hope and to let expectations that others have of you make you feel down and that you're not good enough. You are good enough, and your ideals do matter. And the expectations of others need to be examined, and it's okay. It's okay that everything is not flowing. It's okay that things need to be examined. It's okay that you need to be clearer and more focused. And you will be, but you have to have the courage to say, I am vulnerable and I am willing to trust my highest self. I'm willing to trust my instincts. And I'm willing to also honestly, objectively listen to what other people have to say, because I have the strength and the wherewithal to decide for myself whether or not those things that those people are saying are things that I need to work on. So it's not an easy time, but it's a time when you can develop the discipline and the sense of focus so that you can really decide for yourself what needs to be adjusted and what needs to be changed. And you may find that by going deep within, you find the discipline to say, I am going to stand up for the things that matter to me, while at the same time listen deeply to what other people are asking and what other people need. And I will do my best to find the balance between those two areas. And you can do it, and you will be fine.